Hey YouTubers, I thought I would do a quick video on some what I call high dollar disappointments, but I'm going to throw in a couple of nice surprises as well. The first high dollar disappointment in vinyl is this Kenny Burrell Midnight Blue. It's not the music and it's not the recording that is the disappointment. It's the pressing itself, meaning the physical way the record is made. I paid 50 bucks for this. It's 45 RPM. It's 2 albums. Unfortunately, only one side of each album is playable because the other side has a lump where the hole is. So I'll never be able to show it to you on video, but there's basically a lump here. And when this side is down on my turntable, there's such a lump that the album actually can tilt. And that's true of both discs. So I have a $50 album of which I can play half. Huge disappointment. I've got to remember, I keep forgetting to contact Acoustic Sounds and get a return code so that I can send this back and get a replacement and hope that that is better. So again, it's not the music. The music's awesome. It's the way the record is made. So you might want to think about that. It's another example of high dollars does not mean necessarily high quality. Just a little bit more about the recording itself. I bought the stereo version. I read over and over that the mono is what you want, but I was like, nah, I really want stereo. I got the stereo version, and it strikes me as a lot of early stereo stuff as very two-channel. There's almost nothing in the middle. So I can live with that. Quality music is good enough that I can live with it. But it's something to keep in mind if you're thinking of it. It's not going to give you a soundstage that sounds like the performers in front of you. It's going to sound like the performers in each speaker. Some of the bass shows up in the middle. I think it was a 3-mic recording. I haven't really researched it, but something tells me it was. So it's got a bit of a spread, but really it's kind of focused to the sides. So keep that in mind. But still, good music, really good music on this, and a good sounding recording, just not physically all playable. The next one, this is a classic record, but I find it hard to listen to. The music's great. Nothing wrong with the music. Doesn't have a pressing problem. This is regular 33 1/3, but it's on, I think it's 180 gram vinyl. This is, I believe, a $30 item here. Let me look. Yeah, 30 for this one, 50 for the Kenny Burrell, if I didn't already say that. And the thing that's getting to me with this one is the piano tone. There's distortion. I believe it's in the recording. I don't think it's in my system. It's almost like a sibilance, but it's in the piano notes. And so when Evans plays a certain note, if I was patient enough, I bet you I could tell you what note it is because it's pretty consistent. And so on a given tune, where a note's going to repeat quite often, it drives me nuts. It's almost like a staticky distortion when a certain combination of notes or a certain note is hit. And to me, that is like a death knell for listening to a piece of music. I just can't stand that sort of thing. Anyway, it's a good album. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to listen to it. So keep that in mind. And again, it could be, I could believe that maybe it's my cartridge, which I believe is set up properly. It could be something in my amplification chain, but a lot of other stuff sounds perfect. So I don't know. Keep that in mind. I always get an itchy lip when I'm doing videos, or maybe I always have an itchy lip, but I only notice it when I'm on video because I don't want to keep doing this. But man, it is like I want to get a piece of sandpaper after it. All right, so those are my disappointments. Those are high dollar disappointments. I mean, it kind of sucks to spend that much money for a piece of vinyl and then be disappointed in the sound or the performance in some other way. But this one was a pleasant surprise. Again, everybody knows this. Rumours, I mean, this album has been played a billion times on FM radio. And I listened to it a billion times when I think it was my mom's copy, you know, when it was originally released. And I still love it. It's a really, really well done album. This one I paid 25 bucks for. It's not an audiophile pressing. I believe it is a standard weight, and it feels a little bit heavier than some of my other albums, but it's not 180 gram audiophile or anything. So $25, that's still expensive. I get it. But man, this sounds really good. It's very quiet, and it's just a really good sounding record. And this is on the original label. So I was kind of pleasantly surprised to see that. It's on the original Reprise, on Reprise. So with the original artwork that was, I believe, there in the original version. And I've talked about this album in a different video, but this is, again, the Ralph Towner album, Batik, that I like a whole lot. And I recommend folks to check it out. And what's cool about this is I got this shrink wrapped. So I've had my other copy literally since it had to have been 1982 or 83. So, you know, 30 years. And it's always had a bit of surface noise. It's got a couple of pops and you know, several revolutions of clicks here and there. I found this one on eBay, shrink wrapped, brand new. And what did it cost me? Like 10 bucks plus $4 shipping. I think that was it. So good. It's still got some surface noise. It's really frustrating. Perhaps I need to just get a zero stat or something, because I think it's really static. I don't think it's actually damage to the vinyl. And while I'm thinking about it, you see this shiny vinyl cover I've got on here? These are new. I've, for years and years, like since 30 years, a lot of my albums are in 30-year-old plastic. Because that's when I bought my plastic in quantity when I worked at a record store. But recently I started, you know, buying used, as I've mentioned, and maybe sort of repackaging some of my old albums. And so I bought this new type of plastic sleeve that's very transparent. It's also very shiny. It's real slick. So, do I like it or do I not like it? Well, I like the fact that the album art shows through a little more nicely, and it doesn't feel grotty the way the old sort of translucent plastic does. It always feels a little bit like it's dirty and whatever. So it's got a nice slick look to it. But one thing I don't like about it is how slick it is. You go to, I mean, the album just wants to fly right out of this thing. If you had them on a shelf, I can imagine as you're pushing it into the shelf, you know, it's going to want to kind of slide out of the plastic and so forth. I've been so lazy, I've just had my albums leaning up against the walls, so it hasn't happened yet, but I know it's going to drive me nuts when I go to put this into a shelf and the record starts to slide out of it. So these are also from Acoustic Sounds. I'm sure they're sold in a million places, but you might want to consider this, but consider what I said about the downside of it. So thought I'd mention that while I was thinking of it. And see, it just slid, the album just slid out of the cover when I laid it down. That's how slick these things are. I'm throwing these back here on my Bat preamp, and I think I've finally decided the Bat is out. I love the sound of it. It's obviously a super high quality amp, but I still continue to have this weird dropout problem between it and the Conrad Johnson power amp, or maybe the Conrad Johnson is just reacting to the fact that the Bat is dropping out. I've had some conversations with Bat, the company and the designer of the amp, and we're all a little mystified as to why it's happening. So I'm thinking it's best at this point just to cut my losses, and I'll stick with the Class A for now because it sounds great too, of course. And then I'm going to shop for a tube amp again. So thanks for watching. We'll catch you later.